I wanted to update my previous leveling guide for a while, now that the Mayhem mode got introduced in the meantime, and so yeah, I'm just gonna start over everything, and the most important things are to have several XP boosts, which will skyrocket the amount that your bots can level up. So if you have maxed out Training Center from Alliance HQ, you get additional 20% XP, 25%, excuse me. Now, Cyber Pass, the premium version also gives additional 25% increase. So if you are willing to spend money on the Cyber Pass, it's a really good deal for a lot of things, just from getting the new 5 stars, and you can also get XP boost. It's a lot of really good deals, so definitely recommend it if you're willing to spend. And of course you get a tiny bit amount from the loyalty program, but it's next negligible, so don't worry about that too much. And then the most important thing probably is using an XP core on a bot that you desire to level up. So ideally it would be best to use the G Metal XP core. However, they can be a bit hard to come by. Now, to my knowledge, they can only come from the Cyber Pass, the premium version, and the next best thing would be the Gold Core, which you can get from the Shenix store, and it also gives a pretty huge amount of XP. So go with either. And now, an important thing to know: if you never used XP cores, once you equip it, the countdown starts. So it lasts for 24 hours after equipping. That means if you unequip it and put it to a different bot, you can still use it, but it will be viable for 1 day from the moment of activation. And if you remove it, the timer does not reset, it keeps going until the core completely expires. So after that is out of the way, go to your event, pick your bot, choose it in a squad, go with the combiner. Ruination is ideal. And now I like to not risk too much. Prime Zone can sometimes give easy zones, but sometimes can give you really hard zones, which can be difficult to do with certain bots. So zone 15 is easily the best one to go with, because it gives easiest bases that you can pretty much do with only one bot and Ruination. So just deploy the bot that you wish to level up, and Combiner can pretty much do the rest. Now, considering that this is a Mayhem mode, keep in mind that you have to take down HQ and as many buildings as possible, ideally all. If you do not take down the HQ, it does not count as a win. If you do take it down, then it does count as a win, and you do not have to destroy every single building. That's only for points, not for the XP. And sometimes when there are a lot of clustered buildings, I like to destroy them as well, because destroying as many buildings as possible also decreases a portion of HP from HQ, so it becomes much easier to kill. Okay, and that is pretty much it. Now my bot is going to finish off the last building, and that's it. So let me check. Yeah, it's a pretty respectable amount of XP. Let me now check here. Okay, so 14.2 million, and I'm gonna check how much we'll have next round, and of course skip the cooldown. Now 40 coins is not that bad, because you spend 15 fuel cells, so you get a lot of value from Mayhem, especially if you want to level up. In fact, it's ideal to just wait for Mayhem, because you can save 3 times as many coins and upgrade your bots to an extremely high levels. Pretty much just max them out. That's how I always do it. Okay, can go here. Perfect. Yeah, now just clean up the rest of the buildings to get as many points as possible. Now we have a bot that cannot, for example, clear the rest of the buildings. Like, let's say that my Ruination dies before all buildings are cleared. Like he will. If we have bot like a healer, for example, they may not be able to destroy Uh, but in this case, you can just let the game time out. It will still be okay. But I'm gonna try win this. Yeah, perfect. Okay, it's still counting as a win. Okay, and yeah, so I get about 5 million XP per battle, which is pretty respectable. Now, of course, Prime Zone can give you a bit more, but like I said, sometimes you will get really easy bases, and sometimes you will get really complicated bases. So if you want to power level in Prime Zone, it can be a bit of a hit or miss, quite a gamble. So I just prefer to stick to Zone 15 more often than not, because it's more of a safer bet. Mm. But yeah, Prime Zone, for whatever reason, is in general easier than Zone 16. Now, I really don't know why. Developers never made any statements in regards to that. So I'm not even sure if they are aware. But it's not that big of a deal, because Prime Zone is really important, like in regular PvP battles for farming medals past a certain level. So we can still take it as a win. Okay, now I'm gonna reset cooldown and continue. You can also spend fuel cells, excuse me, you can spend cyber coins on fuel cells as well, but it can get pretty expensive, so if you are free to play or you spend very little, try to only use your coins for cooldowns. Because sometimes I just, I put the gold XP core and just use my coins for cooldown and nothing else, and then I level up as much as I can. And just use the normal amount of fuel cells that I can get, and I can still level up plenty of bots. It takes a little bit more time than just spending a ton of money and buying a huge amount of fuel cells. But yeah, it's pretty easy to pull off once you get a hang of it. And I believe this is by far the fastest way to level up bots currently in the game. Yeah, level up, perfect. And now the last run. Definitely try it, especially if your bots need. For example, I remember pushing bots from level 50 to level 60 is extremely easy. I know plenty of people who tried it and they pushed whole teams from 50 to 60 in a single event, so it's definitely worth a shot, especially if you have some spare cyber coins lying around, because leveling up bots is pretty much how you get stronger in this game. That's how you beat stronger at harder bases. Now, of course, titans can be a huge deciding factor, but pretty much everything boils down to your teams, because a good titan or good combiner can only do so much, but team is the one that actually does a lot of fighting. So definitely try to invest into your team as much as you can, and try to level up bots that will give you as much value as possible. Or you can go with any bot you like. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, from a budget friendly perspective, I like to first focus on bots that will give me easier time in things like events and wars, which give me better rewards to invest into any kind of weaker bots that may be giving me less in return. So it's another thing to consider. But yeah, that's pretty much how I level up the fastest in this game, at least the fastest way to my knowledge. I hope this has proven to be helpful. And yeah, good luck leveling. Hope you push your bots to really high levels. Hopefully, completely max them out, because the difference is really, really big. The amount of levels, the amount of power that you get from pushing a bot from 60 to 70 is extremely high. Sometimes I like to push as many bots as I can to around level 65, because that's, like, in terms of XP, a pretty good way to make your bots viable for Prime League, while also being able to work on as many as possible, and then pretty much after I get all the ones that I want to around level 65, then I pretty much try to push them to 70. That's kind of my strategy, so that I can make all these bots viable and at the same time. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Have fun and good luck leveling.